I'm Dr. Parzan. I know that this is the last lecture. So, and since I'm talking on sperm counts, I hope that the count remains the same and the motility is decreased for the next 5-10 minutes. So basically, I'm just going to run with the only simple tips and tricks about sperm counts and semen analysis basically. So semen analysis measures the amount of sperm a man produces and determines the number and quality of the sperms in the semen sample. It is rather the first and the only recommended test to be done for a male infertility. Till April 1951, male was entirely hidden from the infertility picture till Craig Nereberg came up with this historic paper in which he had this paper published in the Journal of Fertility Sterility. The title of the journal stating semen quality in 1000 men of known fertility and 800 of infertile. Now this paper was a very benchmark paper after which the semen analysis came into picture for evaluation of male infertility. Now as you can see, the diagram is very common and it is rather depicted in most of the infertility related slides. 30% of the infertility is contributed by the males, and hence it is very important for us to analyze the male partner as when we are looking into the infertility. And a problem with semen and sperm factors affects almost 1/3 of the couples who are having children. These are the basic standard guidelines published by WHO, which I'll be just running through. First and foremost, what is semen? The definition: during ejaculation, a semen is a concentrated suspension of spermatozoa which are stored in epididymis mixed with the fluid which is secreted from the accessory glands, which is the prostate, seminal and the cowpers. So the two things which are very essential to see in the semen sample is the total fluid volume, which is the function of the glands, that is the glandular activity, and the total number of spermatozoa, that is basically the testicular function and the function of the post-testicular system. So the nature of the spermatozoa, that is the vitality, motility and morphology and the composition of the seminal fluid, is what we basically judge in the semen analysis. How the sample is collected: generally it is collected in a sterile container which is pre-warmed, non-toxic, wide-mouthed. Generally a male has to abstain from sexual activities for 2 to 3 days, which should be no longer than 5 days. One thing which I have missed out over here, basically it is very, very important considering the new movie Good News which we have seen, is labeling the semen sample, because we don't want another sequel of the movie coming up. So very important to know that the sample is adequately labeled and it is witnessed. That is something which is very essential. When we are talking about infertility, 2 to 3 samples are to be tested. When this is basically for an infertile male in which there is an issue as far as semen analysis is concerned. If there is decreased motility, decreased counts, that is when we test 2 samples. Otherwise, 1 normal sample we can consider it okay. 2 abnormal samples, yes, when we test which are abnormal, are considered as significant. Now, how early can we test this sample? The sample should be kept at the ambient temperature, generally between 20 to 37 degrees, ranging from 30 to 60 minutes. The analysis should not exceed more than 60 minutes after the sample is received and 3 hours after the collection. So this is basically for the people who generally have issues at collecting at our center, or basically they cannot give the collection at the center and they have to do the home collection. They should be instructed that the sample should come in within the 2 hours. So method of collection is that the man should pass urine, wash hands with soap, rinse away the soap, dry hands and penis with a disposable towel, and then ejaculate into the sterile container. The recommendations of collections are basically masturbations and penile vibrators, ejaculators in cases of anejaculatory cases, and TISA-TESE in which we are facing azoospermia. That is only after assessing whether we are thinking about an obstructive or a non-obstructive cause. So basically for an obstructive we can go also with a PISA, basically if we are finding if there is an absence of vas, or basically TISA for obstructive azoospermia cases. Condoms and coitus interruptus is generally not recommended. There are certain newer condoms which are Milex condoms which have come out in the market which can be used for collection of the semen sample. Coitus interruptus is generally not recommended because it is generally the pre-ejaculate which consists the maximum amount of spermatozoa that can be wasted out. So what basically are we looking at when we are considering the semen analysis? First and foremost, between 30 to 16 minutes, that is between the first half an hour to 1 hour, we are going to see the liquefaction, measure the volume, pH. Most of us don't use this technique. We prepare wet smears, check for vitality of the sperm, we check for the morphology. By chance, if we have to do any immunoglobulin tests such as the Mars and immunobeat test, and centrifugation to assess the biochemical markers in the semen sample. Within the 3 hours of the collection, we can send the semen for a culture to the microbiology laboratory, and after 4 hours, we can stain the sample and check for sperm morphologies. Macroscopic examinations, we are going to see the appearance, odor, volume, liquefaction, viscosity, and pH. So this is the appearance is basically homogeneous, gray, opalescent. Generally, after looking at the sample, we also come to know if there is less opaque or if it is quite a watery sample, we might be facing it with a low counts. Red color is basically hematospermia, which can be seen with tumors, infections, stones. Yellow color basically jaundice. Certain B complex vitamins and even drugs cause discoloration of the semen sample. Odor is generally musty odor. Volume, mainly the secretions. It is a marker of the secretions of the glands. Generally 1 to 4 ml, less than 2 or more than 6 is considered as abnormal. Liquefaction is very important. We ideally wait for half an hour to check for liquefaction. The function of liquefaction is carried out by the protease enzymes of the prostate glands. So basically, if there is no liquefaction, we can generally see that prostate may be at dysfunction somewhere. When we are doing semen analysis, semen preparations for IUI or ICSI, and if we still face with these liquefaction issues, we can artificially enhance liquefaction by either manually breaking the sample by doing pipetting or add Dulbecaz phosphate buffer saline. So viscosity is generally seen by doing a string test wherein we just pipette out the sample. A string of more than 6 is considered as highly viscous sample. Basically, the semen should be dropping on the slide or the maculas drop by drop. That is when we know that the semen is quite fine. pH is generally a function of the accessory gland activities. Too low is generally obstruction, infection, and absence of vas, whereas high is associated with prostatitis. 7.2 is basically the pH what we generally look at when we are considering a normal semen pH. This is a general wet mount which we generally do for all our semen analysis, where we see the sperm concentrations, motility, agglutinations, pus cells, immature cells, and round cells, and even non-sperm elements. So sperm concentration generally seen on the Mackler's counting chamber, more accurately performed on the Neubauer's chamber, dated back to when we used to be in our MBBS times doing our physiology practicals while we are doing our WBC counts. One of the use of Neubauer's chamber was also for semen analysis, which is one of the better methods to count the semen, the sperms in the semen sample. We generally take 10 squares, either horizontal or vertical, when we are checking the sperm counts. So the total number of spermatozoa per ejaculate gives an idea about time to pregnancy, pregnancy rates, and it's a predictor of conception. This is the Mackler's chamber and the hemocytometer. So the total number of spermatozoa in the ejaculate is correlated with the testicular volume, the capacity of the testes to produce spermatozoa, and the patency of the male tract. You should always not confuse between the total sperm number and the total sperm concentration, because they are two different things. Concentration refers to the number of spermatozoa per unit volume of the semen, and it is a function of the number of spermatozoa emitted and the volume of the fluid diluting them. Whereas the total sperm counts refers to the total number of spermatozoa in the entire ejaculate and is obtained by multiplying the sperm concentration by the seminal volume. Oligo less than 20, poly less than 250, but I'm going to come to a later slide later on where we are going to discuss the WHO strict criteria. Motility, generally WHO had quoted earlier in its manual of 40%, which has gone down to 4% according to the strict criteria. A man can have total number of sperms even ranging more than 20, that is even a normal semen sample, but if the motility is reduced, it may still be an issue. The excess of the progressive motility of the sperm is a function of the pregnancy rate, and it is one of the very important article which was published by Larson et al. When we are seeing the motility, we are going to see the A, B, and C, or rather grade 4, grade 3, grade 2, grade 1. Progressive motility is when the spermatozoa are actively moving, either linearly or in large circles, regardless of the speed. Non-progressive are all patterns of motility in absence of progression, that is either small circle movement or flagellar force. Immobility is no movement. Whenever we are seeing immotile sperms, we should always generally differentiate between the ones which are the dead sperms and the ones which are sperms which are alive by the vitality testing. Aggregation and agglutination is generally seen when generally grade 0 adhesions, when we see that there is no sperms which are agglutinated. Isolated is less than 10 sperms, moderate 10 to 50, and more than 50 sperms, agglutination in the field. This is a morphology of a normal spermatozoa, which we generally check in the 100x field, which consists of the head, neck, middle piece, principal piece, and the end piece. As the end piece is difficult to see in the light microscope, the cell can be considered either by a head and the tail morphology. For a spermatozoa to be normal, both its heads and tail have to be normal, and that is how the strict Kugerberg's criteria has come. So normal head will be regularly contoured, oval, well-defined. Acrosomal region should be normal with no large vacuoles or no vacuoles more than 20%. Midpiece should be generally slender. It should be the same line of the head, and the principal piece should be of the uniform caliber. Any one of these abnormalities can result into the abnormal sperms, like we can see over here. Other cells basically are leukocytes, epithelial cells, spermatocytes, and erythrocytes. This is a very important slide when we are coming to the WHO change to 2010 modified 2012 guidelines, wherein the volume more than 1.5, count more than 15, motility more than 40, progressive more than 32, vitality more than 58, and morphology more than 4 is taken into consideration. The causes of the low sperm counts are basically varicocele, which hampers with the heating system of the testes and the normal cooling mechanism. Infections, STIs, chlamydia, gonorrhea, prostatitis, ejaculatory issues, surgeries, prostate, urethral, and retrograde ejaculation. Tumors, either related to the testes, prostate, or to the pituitary. Undescended testes, hormonal imbalances, either acting locally or at the pituitary level. Sperm duct defects, genetic conditions like cystic fibrosis, calmants, drugs like anabolic steroids, and environmental causes. So the treatment basically is surgery, that is either repair of vas or varicocelectomy, treating infections with antibiotics, hormones, that is HRTs, ART procedures, IVF, ICSI, PICSI, and MC, lifestyle modification, that is avoiding alcohol, smoking, illicit drug use, stress, and pesticides, forming a good sexual activity, and using alternate form of medicines. Thank you.